Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we're going to scramble the cube and then we'll do a complete solve from start to finish. You're welcome to follow along if you want. You can copy my scramble turn for turn. I'll do the turns here slowly enough that you can follow along, and I'll show you a shortcut that allows you to avoid doing the lengthy gyro move a couple of times during your scramble. So we'll start here. Remember, one of the turns that we're allowed to make is a cube rotation independent of each other. We'll do that one. Another turn we're allowed to make is to turn any of the long faces 180 degrees. I'll do this one. The third turn in our list is the gyro. We're going to skip that one for now. And then the final kind of turn we make is an axial twist. I'll turn 3 layers this way and then the opposite layer the other way. And now I'll do another arbitrary cube rotation here. And now instead of the gyro, we need a move that's going to swap all of the exterior, the outside pieces. They're currently all pink and purple in mine, and we need to get those pinks and purples all scrambled up, some in the interior diamonds. And so here's the new move. We're going to take the top layer and plop it to the bottom. And then we're going to take the right-hand layer and plop it to the other side, the opposite side, just like that. And now you can see that the pinks and purples are no longer on the outsides, they are now on the insides. Okay, let's do some more rotation stuff here. So we'll rotate this cube this way. And then I'll turn a layer twice. And I'll do another cube rotation. Let's spin this guy around and join it that way. And now we'll do the same move that we did before, this kind of brand new move. So we're going to take the top layer off, put it to the bottom. And I'll point out that that move of picking up a top layer and putting it to the bottom is an illegal move. It does not exist in the 4-dimensional representation of this puzzle. It's just not a thing. You can see we don't even have our 2 diamonds like we normally have, right? Like here, we have a red diamond and then a mixed color diamond over here. And when you do this illegal move, you don't even have the diamonds anymore. So this is not a legal turn. Doesn't give us anything that we can solve doing legal turns. This move, where you take the right side off and plop it over onto the left side, also illegal, but it turns out that those 2 moves put back to back take you from a solvable cube state to a different solvable cube state. So this is one of those instances where 2 wrongs actually do make a right. All right, let's keep doing cube rotation stuff. I'll spin this side here 180 degrees. We'll do more cube rotation stuff. Let's do an axial twist. I'll turn 3 layers 180 degrees and then 1 layer 180 degrees back. More cube rotation stuff here. And now we'll mix things up here. I said before we could take the top layer and move it to the bottom. This time we'll move the bottom layer to the top. Of course, it's exactly the same. Before we move the right-hand layer, what if I want to move the front? Sure, just put it on the right for convenience sake. Let's keep rotating cube stuff like that. We'll do another axial twist, 3 layers, 1 layer. Rotate the cubes again. And we'll change things up again. We'll do this kind of funny new move, but this time I'm going to take the right side first. Instead of taking the top off first, I'll take the right side off first, plop it over there. This is not solvable, but then I'll take the top and put it to the bottom. And now we're back in a solvable cube state. And we'll do one final cube rotation here just to mess things up a little bit more. And then one final 180-degree twist. And one final axial twist. 3 layers, 1 layer. So let's jump into our solving process. Right now, the first goal is to orient all of the pink and purple stickers to the outsides of all 16 of these little cubes. First thing we do is count pinks and purples on opposite faces of each of these 2x2x2s. And we're hoping to get a total of 8 combined between the 2x2x2s. As we do this solve, I'll point out opportunities to get a little bit faster at solving this 2x2x2x2. So the first thing I do is I look for pinks and purples. So when I demonstrated counting pinks and purples on opposite faces in our last video, I counted every pair of opposite faces, the front, the back, the up, the down, the right and left. On both cubes, we counted 6 numbers, but you don't need that. You just need to find 8 in total, anywhere, anyhow. And so the first thing I see here is a pink and a couple of purples. I'm going to gravitate towards the one that there's more of. There's more down here in the front. There's 2 pinks and purples in the front. So let's take a look at the back. Oh, we've got 3 over there. That's 5. That's fabulous. I'm not going to count any more over here. I've got 5 on this one. I'm looking for 8 altogether, so I just need to hope that we can find 3 pinks and purples on opposite faces on this cube. So I see 2 on the top here, 1 on the bottom, we're good to go. We've already found our 8. Now, if we didn't get lucky here and have 8 pinks and purples readily available, in our last video, I recommended doing RKT turns to change the state of one of these cubes here and build 8 pinks and purples all together. The biggest opportunity for time save is to not be wedded to pinks and purples like I've been in this entire video series. Maybe if you couldn't see pinks and purples adding up to 8 in this state, you take a look at, I don't know, blues and greens. So there's a blue right there, and then on the opposite side, none. All right, blues and greens on the top. There's 1 green, 1 blue down in the bottom, that's 2. Maybe without doing any RKT turns, there's a total of 8 blues and greens combined between these 2 different cubes here. So being color neutral gives you the opportunity to skip the RKT turns here in the beginning, and that could be a significant time save. On the flip side, however, I think being color neutral on this 2x2x2x2 requires a lot of work, and all of the other tips that I'm going to offer in this video for speeding things up don't come at nearly as high of a cost as becoming color neutral on this puzzle would be. Okay, so we've got our 8 pinks and purples. Let's move on and we'll put the puzzle together just like this. We'll double check our count. So pinks and purples on the top, I've got 3 here, 4, 5 there, and then on the bottom, 6, 7, 8. We are good to go. We're going to do our gyro move just like this. Note that as soon as we're solving, which is what we're doing right now, you're no longer allowed to do this funny business with take the top and put it on the bottom and then swap the right and left faces. That is not a legal thing to do. Let's put it back. We do have to do the gyro here during our solution. Okay, so again, gyroing with 3 on the top, 5 on the bottom. Take the left, put it on the right, open the book, put the right back on the left, right cube twice, back twice, bottom twice, left cube twice. And now we're trying to get all the pinks and purples onto a single one of these 2x2x2s and on opposite faces. All right, so I do see a single pink or purple here or here, but oftentimes if you look around just a little bit, you can find a pair of pinks and purples already made. So let's just begin right there with that pink and purple pair. We'll do an R2 to put it on the bottom. We'll spin this bottom cube twice to put that pair on the left. The next one that I see is right here. Let's put it here in the front right position. We'll do an R2, looking for any pink and purple. Oh, there's one right there. Let's put it right here. R2 pairs up these 2 guys, put them on the right, put them in the bottom, and then put all 4 of those on the left. Continuing to look for pinks and purples, I see one right there. Let's put it in our favorite spot. R2, I see a couple of pinks and purples here. Either one is fine. We'll just put that one there. R2 pairs them up. And then this puts them back down to the bottom. So now we have 4 on the left, 2 on the bottom. And in my last video, I said the next thing to do is look in this top 2x2x2, looking to find the remaining 2 pink and purple pieces. We've already got 6 of them accounted for here in the bottom. So there's 2 left. But honestly, what I would do first, instead of looking up here first, I would actually look in these 2 pieces right here, these 2 slots, just to make sure, hopefully, that there aren't any pinks or purples in the interior diamond positions in these 2 slots. Because if there are, then we got to do kind of funny business to get them up in the top. I see that they aren't there. I just see blues and whites here, so good to go. That means the pink and purples must be up here. There's one, there's the other. Now we're going to do RKT turns to pair up the final pink and purple. It turns out it is possible to pair these in 2 moves. So if you do a D2, this is going to be illegal because I'm not attaching the other cube, but if we do a D2, that puts the other purple back here, and then an L pairs them up. Let's put it back. But honestly, if I'm timing this thing, I don't know that I would see that efficient solution. I might be more tempted to rotate the cube like this, treating pink as being a white. I put it on the bottom just because that's how I solved my 3x3 cubes. And then I would just do the sexy move, the right-hand move here once on this guy to put it down in the bottom. So RUR prime is going to get this purple down here. We have to attach correctly. Make sure you attach the 4 pink and purple pieces to the left-hand cube. So first an R, 3 layers, 1 layer, then a U, 3 layers, 1 layer, and then an R prime, 3 layers, 1 layer. And we've got our pink purple pair right there. Put this thing down the way that it's supposed to be. So we need the 4 on the left, we need the 2 on the bottom, just like that. And then we put this one up here on the left. R2 pairs them up. Rotate so that they're on the right-hand side. R2, and now we have our intermediate goal right here. So now we'll do a gyro, but I don't want the pink and purples here on the top. Let's put them to the front and back, for example, any place other than U and D. We'll do our gyro. Open the book, right onto left, right twice, back twice, down twice, left twice. And then it's always the same finish from here. Right cube, X2, turn the top twice. And now I want the pinks and purples all in the U and D faces before I do our final gyro of the solution. So we've got them all up there and down there. We'll gyro one last time. Open the book, right onto left, right twice, back twice, down twice, and left twice. And now we've got all of the pinks and purples oriented correctly. And now we shift to solving the pink 2x2x2. I'm looking for any piece that has pink, and then as a secondary color, I want it to have white. So I see a pink here, but it's got yellow. I see a pink here, but it also has yellow. I see this pink, but I can't tell if it's a yellow or a white, so let's take a look. This one is also yellow. Oh, I see two pink and whites here. It could be some miracle that they're matched. No, they're not, but that's okay. I've got my starting point. We'll hold this guy up here on the top. I'll make it so that the white is up here. I make a note of the color of this front face. That one's green. We're gonna do an R2. Puts it down here in the bottom. So now I'm looking for the other pink, white, green piece. So there's a pink and white, that's no good. Here's a pink and yellow, that's no good. There's a purple, that's nothing. So I guess the other piece that I wanted was down here in the bottom. Oh, there it is, pink, white, green. So we gotta bring that guy up and separate. So now it's back here. I need to separate it from this one. You could just do an RKT turn to move these two layers counterclockwise as you're looking from the top. I always just turn the 3 layers 180 degrees. That way I don't have to think about whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise. So this one is gonna end up coming over to here. So this will stay where it is. We do a 3-layer U2 and then a 1-layer U2. This guy is back where it belonged. This guy is now separated. So now we can do our R2. And then put the other white sticker up right here so that it matches when we bring this guy back up with an R2. There's our first pair. Put it on the right, put it to the bottom, put it to the left. Now we're looking for the other 2 pink white pieces. I see a pink right here. Oh no, that's yellow. I see a pink over here. Oh, that's white. Let's put that one white face up. I'm putting it here in this spot, but that might not be where it ends up. I have to make a note of the opposite color to what we started with. We started with green. That means we're focused on blue. Blue in the front is a good thing. But if the blue were not in the front on this cube, if it were here on the right-hand side, then I wouldn't put the white sticker here. I'd put it back here, which would put the blue in the back. So you want the color to focus on either in the front or the back, never on the right-hand side. So blue goes here. R2 puts it in the bottom. Now I'm looking for the final pink-white piece. It's gonna have blue necessarily. I see a pink there, that's a yellow. I see pink here, oh, there it is, pink, white, blue. I want it to be right next to the spot that the other pink, white, blue is going to return to. And of course, the blues are gonna match up automatically. Put them on the right, put them on the bottom. That gives us our first layer of pink. Put it on the left. In doing that first layer of pink, I was looking for pieces that had pink and white. I no longer have to look for a secondary color. Any piece that has pink that isn't solved yet necessarily has yellow. So any pink piece is now in play. The only pink piece I see up here on the top is this one. There's the yellow. I'll put it face up right here, and I will remember the color that's in front. It's green in this case. Doesn't matter that it happens to be the same as the first color that we solved over here. But anyway, just making a note, it is green as we're solving first. Now looking for the other pink-green piece. I see a pink here. Does it have green? No, it's got blue. Oh, I see another pink there, and that one has green. That's promising. There's the yellow face up. It belongs right here. The green will automatically match. R2. There's our pair. Put that pair on the right-hand side and then down to the bottom with an R2. So we've got all of our whites, and then we've got our first yellow pair. And now hopefully the 2 remaining pink pieces are in the top 2x2x2. But honestly, before I even look for the 2 remaining pink pieces, I look to see if I'm in one of my special cases. I look at these 2 slots right here. Are either of them pink? Yes, this one is. So that's no good. It got dragged down when we put this yellow-pink pair in the bottom. So we got to do our algorithm here. I'll put it on screen for you. First thing is to put the 1 remaining pink anywhere here in the right-hand side. Doesn't matter. I'll put it here just to show you on the side. It doesn't matter. So there's the pink piece. We'll do an R2. That pink piece is now safely saved down here. It's going to come up at the very end of this process. I need to separate this pink pair from this pink piece right here. I always do a U2 when I do this kind of separation thing, but before we do our RKT turn, make sure you attach the white stickers to the top cube just like that. 3 layers U2, 1 layer U2, put the whites back on this side, And now we've got our yellow pair still here, and then we have separated out the final remaining pink piece. We'll do R2, which puts this pair in the bottom. It's also going to bring the final pink one up to the top. And now we have what we had before. 4 whites here on the left, 2 yellows here on the bottom, but now the 2 remaining pink pieces are both accessible to us. They're both in this top 2x2x2 cube. So now we'll do RKT turns to solve the remaining yellow-pink pair. So I've got one right here. I'll treat this one as being correct. Yellow is acting as white. I'll put it face down. And then the other one is right here. Yellow is face up. That's quite convenient. If the 2 yellows are opposite each other, then all you have to do is possibly a U-turn of some kind, and then a double turn will solve them. So what's the other color they share besides pink and yellow? Well, I've got red, blue here, and over here, orange, blue. So blue is what they solve. That's also something we could have noticed by remembering that we solved this yellow pair here. We solved the green first, so the opposite color is blue. That's what they share. Since I treated this one as being correct, that means that the blue is right here. That is correct, which means that this other piece needs to go right here. So we'll just turn the top U, which puts this yellow here, and then an L2 will solve it. So illegally, U and then L2, and that's going to be our pink-blue pair. Let's put it back. And now we'll do those turns legally, always attaching the 4 white stickers to the cube that we are wanting to rotate. So 3 layers U, 1 layer U prime. And then attaching the whites over here to the left, 3 layers, double turn, 1 layer double turn. And we have built our yellow, pink, blue pair. Let's hold this one correctly. So we want the whites on the left and then that yellow pair on the bottom. Hold this yellow pair so it's here in the top left. R2 pairs them up. Put the yellows on the right-hand side. If you really want, you can match these things up so that when you bring this guy down to the bottom that you'll actually end up with a solved pink cube as opposed to one that's off by a single turn. But I never bothered doing that because we're about to do RKT turns anyway. And now in terms of solving the purple cube and wrapping up the solution of the entire 4-dimensional puzzle, so I have been showing a layer by layer kind of beginner's method approach to solving this 2x2x2, but that was just for ease of this video series. Another big time save is to use a more advanced method to solve this 2x2x2. So maybe you already happen to know one, in which case you would just do it naturally. In my case, I decided to learn the PBL method for solving a 2x2x2 cube. It only involved learning 3 new algorithms, all of which were short and easy to memorize, and immediately I got better at actually solving the regular 2x2x2 just because I learned this PBL method instead of the layer by layer approach I had been using. And so for me, I would use the PBL method to solve this thing right here, and I've got 3 greens out of 4. I would just need to put the 1/4 green one here, even though they don't all match up. All 3 of these greens are not matching up. That's okay. PBL method doesn't care. So I am color neutral at this point, but I'm not color neutral on the entire 4-dimensional puzzle. But just to wrap up this solve, we'll solve the white layer first, just like we did before. Fortunately, we got a white pair right there, white, purple, green. So those guys are good. They're solved there on the bottom. And now we need to put in these last 2 white pieces, and we'll put them in the right spots. So I see that we can do an R2 to put this guy right here over where it belongs. So attaching the whites, did I do the whites before? I think I attached the yellows in my previous video on this step. So we'll do an R2, which is going to put this guy where it belongs. R2 with 3 layers, R2 with 1 layer. And so that is this piece solved. And then finally this one right here, we'll do a U prime and then a righty move. So 3 layers, 1 layer. And now it's here. And now R with 3 layers, R prime with 1 layer. U with 3 layers, U prime with 1 layer, R prime 3 layers, R with 1 layer. And so that's our bottom white layer. And so if you're doing this layer by layer approach to solve the 2x2x2, make sure you know your OLL algorithms turn by turn, right? Like all of the finger tricks that you know, they don't help here. So you need to be able to do these turns 1 turn at a time, very slowly. So practice, 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 just doing the 7 OLL algorithms 1 turn at a time. And the same thing with the PLL algorithms. There are 2 of them. You need to be able to swap when you have adjacent corners that are messed up and the other 2 corners are solved right next to each other. And you can do a T-perm here. I prefer to do an A-perm. It's just shorter, holding those guys on the back. I'll do my A-perm like this. And then an AUF at the end. And you also need to be able to solve when you have opposite corners that need to be swapped. And so here you can do a Y-perm. I'm going to do the standard Y-perm here, but you might be surprised at how hard it is to do this thing with only one turn at a time, as opposed to using the standard finger tricks. So it's really frustrating to learn the entire 4-dimensional puzzle, but then you get to the end where you're trying to do a PLL on this thing and you can't do it turn by turn because you only know how to do it with finger tricks. So make sure you do that thing slowly. You can do it one turn at a time. And I'll show you an alternative to the Y-perm that's a few moves shorter, so I like it. It only works on the 2x2x2, not the 3x3x3, but it goes like this. R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F2, U prime, R, U, R prime, D, R2. Whatever algorithms you choose, make sure that you know your OLL and PLL algorithms turn by turn really well so that you can solve them when you get to this stage of the puzzle. Coming back to our 4-dimensional puzzle, we see here we have a righty soon, again attaching the yellow layer. So always 3 layers and then 1 layer. So we go R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. And after I go through all that hullabaloo about making sure you learn your PLL algorithms one turn at a time, we get a PLL skip. Perfect. 3 layers U, 1 layer U prime. It happens that we are solved right now, but it could also happen that you're off by a single U2 turn on this cube. I'll just remind you of that algorithm. So it could have been that at the end of solving this one, this guy ends up being off by U2. So in this case, remember, we attach the yellows and we do the move R, U2 6 times. 3 layers and then 1 layer as usual. That's the first one. RU2, that's the second one. R, and then U2 solves the entire cube. And then technically, I think you do need to put it back together so that all of the faces are oriented the correct way relative to each other in order to call this thing solved. If at the end of solving the purple 2x2x2, you end up off by a single 90-degree turn on the pink cube, that means you messed up somewhere. This is not a legal state of the 4-dimensional puzzle, so the most likely explanation is that somewhere along the line, as you were doing RKT turns, you accidentally didn't undo an RKT turn on this pink cube. So unfortunately, this would be a DNF. So I haven't done very many timed solves of myself on this puzzle. I've only gotten the puzzle pretty recently. I think that on average, maybe I can solve it in about 3.5, 4 minutes. But I'm getting faster without learning any new techniques, just to kind of getting smoother, going from one step in the process to the next, starting to think about look ahead, which saves time as well. If you have any suggestions, any tips that you can make for folks out there to get faster at this puzzle, please leave them in the comment section below. Many thanks to Melinda Green for creating and mass producing this beautiful puzzle. Thanks so much for watching.